Hello, fellow ghoulists. This is Shadow of the Moon. I hope you enjoyed that little pun that I added at the beginning. And welcome to the continuation of my Halloween themed spooky deck profiles. So, this one actually was a request from a few of you. So, this is going to be actually my first ever request that I'm going to be posting up on this channel that I was able to do. And this is going to be a different kind of Red Eyes Black Dragon deck profile. This one's actually going to be a Red Eyes Branded. So if you don't know, Branded works really well with a lot of different archetypes, and with Red Eyes is definitely no exception. It does speed the deck up a little bit and focuses more heavily on fusion summoning, so that is very important in this deck. Also, this is a lot of fun because I love the way that how speedy it is, and it is very easy to be able to get that Dragoon out on the first turn and not using Red Eyes Fusion to do it, so you'll actually still have that. But I'm just very glad to be able to actually show you this deck profile. Me personally, I like the Red Eyes Burn strategy that I had before, but since most of you really were interested in a branded Red Eyes deck profile, I thought that I would go ahead and do it. This is supposed to take place before the post-Darkwing Blast, or a pre-Darkwing Blast, so obviously some new support will be coming out for Branded. So you can definitely change the deck however you want. But for now, I just wanted to show you this branded deck profile. And then eventually I will probably be doing it more of an updated one, depending on the different strategies that I see moving forward. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight on to the spooky deck profile. But I just want to say thank all of you subscribers and everybody that watches my videos, my content. You guys rock. Thank you so much. I am now at 265 subscribers, and for me that is insane, and that makes me very, very happy that you guys pay attention, you guys watch the videos, you enjoy it, and just all in all, just have a really, really good time. So please, I thank you so much. All right, so without any further ado, finally, let's move on to the long-awaited deck profile. So first off, obviously, 3 copies of Red Eyes Black Dragon. This is the main monster of the deck. You need 3 of these to be able to play with the deck. A ferocious dragon with a deadly attack. This is obviously the Dragon of Potential, whereas the Blue Eyes was the Dragon of Power. And then 3 copies of your Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is a great extender for this deck. Kind of combining him with the Black Metal Dragon, which will help you go into a lot of your link plays and kind of get the deck going, because this is the main monster, one of the main monsters of the deck. You use this by banishing a Dragon type monster, and then you can either special summon a Dragon type monster from your hand, or you can special summon a Dragon type monster from the graveyard. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looping the Black Metal Dragon consistently and constantly doing that effect to be able to send it to the graveyard, add a Red Eyes card from your deck to your hand, bring it back, Red Eyes, and so on and so forth. All right, and then 2 copies of the Red Eyes Alternative Dragon. Red Eyes Alternative, it's not as good, honestly, in my opinion, as the Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, but it's still very good, because all you have to do is discard a Red Eyes monster to special summon this card from, or tribute a Red Eyes monster either from your hand or on the field to special summon this card from your hand. And then if this card is in the graveyard and you have a Red Eyes monster, you can actually special summon this card, and this card actually becomes or you can special summon a Red Eyes monster, and that card can become 4800 attack. So you can do it it's a quick effect, and if your opponent attacks, you can activate, bam, you've got a 4800 monster on the field. All right, and then 3 copies of the MVP himself, Black Metal Dragon. Black Metal Dragon is a constant loop in this deck, because you're constantly going to be sending it to the graveyard, adding a Red Eyes card from your deck to your hand, and then so on and so forth. And this is probably one of the best. This is actually probably the best card in the deck. I actually hope one day to be able to get a hollow versions upgrade of these. And then 1 copy of your Blackstone of Legend. You tribute this to special summon a Red Eyes Black Dragon from your deck. And then also, if this is in your graveyard and you haven't used that effect, you can actually send a Red Eyes Black Dragon from your graveyard back into the deck, and to add this card back to your hand. And then now for the branded portion of the video, the 3 Fallen of Albraz. Very important in this deck because it is a Dragon type monster, and if this card is a normal special summon, you can discard a card, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using materials on either the field, either on the field as fusion material, including this card, but you cannot use other monster you control as fusion material. So basically, this is the best way to be able to get out like Red Eyes Dragoon, being able to get out Albion, and being able to get out Ice Jade, and just like all the other cards and stuff in general, because it really, really, really does help you. It makes the deck a lot faster, and there is a consistent amount of fusions in this deck. And then 3 Keeper of the Dragon Magics. You're probably wondering, 3 Keeper of the Dragon Magics, why would you put 3 of these in the deck? Well, for starters, When he's special summoned or normal, you can discard a card to add a polymerization or normal spell or trap fusion normal spell from your deck to your hand. So mainly you're going to be adding Red Eyes Fusion, or you're going to be adding Branded Fusion from your deck to your hand. So it makes it very easy to be able to get that. And then you can reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck. So special summon one of the fusion materials mentioned on the monster into the graveyard in face down defense position. And you can only each effect of it once per turn. You can special summon monsters. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. So you're going to be using this card to help get out a lot of the fusion monsters in your extra deck. And that's the main purpose of this deck, is to be able to get as many of them out on the field. In terms of like lock, it's not really that, it doesn't really have a lock strategy. It's mainly you're going to be swarming the field with a bunch of fusion monsters that have very good effects, and then you're going to be going on over there. But also what makes it important is it has a great follow-up. This deck has a great follow-up because in the event they do destroy one or two of your monsters, you still have a good field, and then you can actually go into your next play with even stronger stuff at your disposal. All right, and then one copy of Albion, the Shrouded Dragon. Most of these cards also are in the Albaz Strike structure deck, so it's very easy to get a hold of them. So Albion, the Shrouded Dragon, this card, his name becomes Fallen of Albaz while it's on the field or in the graveyard, and if this card is in your hand or GY, you can send one Fallen of Albaz or branded spell and trap from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Apply the following effects that you sent from it. Either from the hand, you can special summon this card, and then deck place this card in the bottom of the deck. If you do, place this card in your hand and then draw a card. So this is going to count towards your fusion materials. You can add that branded fusion. It is treated as a Fallen of Albaz. That's why you only need one copy. And then 3 copies of Spriggan's Kit. Spriggan's Kit is a great extender for this deck, because if you have a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz is material or in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal special summoned, you can add from your hand one branded spell or trap that is banished or in your deck or graveyard. Then place one card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. So this is going to allow you to get your branded fusions and get a lot of your spell cards from your deck and being able to add them to your hand. And then for the lastly, you've got 2 copies of Effect Failure just for insurance policy, and then 1 copy of Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit. You can choose if you want. You can have 3. You can choose whatever kind of like different versions of your hand traps that you want. If you wanted more Infinite Imperm, you could have that. If you wanted Ash Blossom, you could have that. This is just strictly because for a budget option, because these are a lot cheaper and have been reprinted a lot more. And then lastly, the Dark Magician, because this is going to allow you to go into your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. All right, that's it for the monsters. Let's move on to the spells. So first off, we've got 3 copies of Branded Fusion. This is obviously your fusion card. Very, very good in this deck, and also can really help you go into a lot of the other fusions that you have in this deck, and also to be able to just overwhelm your opponent also on the first turn. That's one of the reasons why I like this deck, is being able to have that, because you have this and you have a copy of Red Eyes Fusion. So basically that is 4 of the fusion cards, and they're very easily searchable. These cards are incredibly easily to search for, and that's what makes branded cards a lot really versatile in my opinion. And then just 1 copy of Red Eyes Fusion. This is also going to be used for your target for your Dark Dragoon. Red Eyes Insight, that can help your Red Eyes cards and add them from your deck to your hand. And then 1 copy of Branded Loss, because you only need 1 Branded Loss in this deck. The activation of cards or effects that include all effect or fusion monsters or summon cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way. So this really will help you basically give you an insurance policy on a lot of your fusion cards in this deck, which is going to be very important. And then just 1 copy of 1-for-1, because it's going to help you get those level 1s, either Black Metal Dragon or the Black Stone of Legend. Then 1 copy of Call by the Grave, because Call by the Grave is helped to be able to stop your opponent from doing any crazy stuff in the graveyard. And then 3 of Lore of Darkness, because this deck basically is a dark deck. So you basically draw 2 and then be able to banish 1. And then Monster Reborn, because Monster Reborn is very helpful in the deck. And then lastly, you're going to have Red Eyes Fang with Chain for a Searcher, and also Red Eyes Spirit to be able to bring back your Red Eyes monster. You can take these out and add whatever you want. I just like them in here because they do actually are very, very useful, so I still like using them. So that's going to be it for the main deck, guys. Let's move on to the extra deck. All right, so first off, obviously, we're going to be having Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. This is going to be your Omni Negate. This is going to help you win games, obviously, because it's very easy to get this out on the first turn, and you don't have to use Red Eyes Fusion for it. You can use Branded Fusion. Then you've got 2 copies of Albion, the Branded Dragon. So if this card is fusion summoned, you can fusion summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except Albion, the Branded Dragon, by banishing fusion materials on it from your hand field or in your graveyard. So Very important to be able to get this guy out on the field. It's actually very, very, very easy. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add from your hand or set one branded spell or trap directly from your deck. So this is going to allow you to set those branded spell and traps, and also allow you to be able to make sure that you always have a field presence. And then you have Lubellion, sorry if I butcher this name, I do apologize. It's going to be Lubellion the Searing Dragon. This is also a very important card in this deck. Then you've got Mirage the Iceblade Dragon, also a very good card in this deck. And then you've got Springen the Iron Dash Dragon. You're going to make sure that you want to have that in there. And then one copy of Beast Eyes Pendulum Dragon. This is actually probably one of the very few non-dark dragon type monsters that I have in this deck, but still very good nonetheless. And then you've got Predaplant Dracostapelia. You've got, that's it for the fusions. As you can see, you've got quite a bit in this deck. So then we are still running at least two copies of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon because of the burn effect. If your opponent so much as breathe, whatever, they're going to take 500 points of damage. And then we have Dark, the Dark Charmer Gloomy. Obviously, that's going to help you. You've got Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spears. One copy of Striker Dragon to get your combo started. One copy of Guard Dragon Pisty. And then lastly, one copy of Link Karibo. All right, I do apologize for the camera because I keep knocking into it. So that's going to be it for this deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, this deck is not after Darkwing Blast, so obviously that you are going to have to, you can include a lot of the cards that are in that deck if you choose, or in that set. And also, I will be updating this eventually. I do plan on it because this deck is a lot of fun. Even though I do prefer the Red Eyes Burn strategy, this deck is incredible because it can do so much on your turn, and you can special summon like crazy. A lot of these cards work really well together, and Albaz is just a very good overall archetype, very strong archetype. So it allows you to do a lot of plays that you would normally be able to do with some, different monsters and stuff in some decks that may need a little bit of help. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching this. And stay tuned for my last spooky deck profile that's going to be on the next Monday, which will be the 31st, and that's going to be the Skull Servant deck profile. So thank you so much for watching. With that, see you guys next time. Later.